The Chihuahua is Stan. The Retriever-Shepherd mix is the late and lamented Douglas. And I'm David Ravel. The three of us took this picture in the spring of 2004 for the Alverno Presents season brochure, my first as director of the series. Alverno Presents is the performing arts series of Alverno College. Sister Laura Lampe founded the series in 1959 and ran it for over 35 years. Sister Laura was a visionary. Some people make the city a better place. Sister Laura is one of them. We come back to this picture to understand two things. The dogs are here for my protection, and they are protecting me from what is on that monitor behind us. There is some irony here, but we'll get to that in a bit. For now, what we need to know is that Douglas and Stan are protecting me from dance. I have been hired to run a multidisciplinary series, and one of those disciplines is dance. Dance baffles me. Dance annoys me. And now that I have the responsibility of programming dance under the shadow of the visionary Sister Laura, dance scares the living crap out of me. What, you may ask, is so scary about bodies in motion? When you put it like that, probably nothing. But for me, it gets weird when I try to figure out what it means. When the guy points his left arm up and the woman holds her left arm straight out, what am I supposed to make of this? Dance frustrates me because it seems arbitrary. He supports her as she leans back. They look great, but aside from the fact that they could be selling perfume or watches, what does it mean that her right arm is hooked around his neck? And would it mean something different if it were her left arm around his back? When I don't understand something, I believe that reading provides answers. I tend to trust words over images, which is no doubt part of my problem. I imagine that there is this language of movement that matches a language of words, and if I had the Rosetta Stone or the key to the scriptures, I'd be set. But a lot of what I read sounded like this. The ideas I have developed as poetic systems in my own dance-making define the sensibility of this article. Together with the language of dreams, I have attempted to use my imagination to move away from the limits of definition and towards my own internal music. And there's my problem. Not enough definition and too much internal music. When people move on stage, I think theater. And then I think story, so I start looking for the beginning, middle, and end, and that's where I get hung up, looking for the definition in the midst of all this internal music. Okay, this guy in the middle. I get flying, I get birds. I get that from the couple on the lower right, and to a lesser extent from the couple on the left. But when we get to that couple on the upper right playing patty cake, that's where it all falls apart. I found this picture by Googling scary dance. Yeah, that one's a little too easy, but it helps make my point that dance was either going to make me feel really stupid or make me want to run screaming out of the theater. I was at that terrifying point that in retrospect is surprisingly liberating. That point where all your old paradigms turn to dust and you have no choice but to embrace different, except you haven't a clue what the look, sound, taste, or smell of different might be. Oh, and by the way, people will be watching. Not only will people be watching, people will be paying money in watching. This is no longer my private epistemological crisis. This is my shot at massive public humiliation. So I started going to a lot of dance. I probably saw more dance in 2004 than I had seen in all my life. I kept applying my old strategies, matching words to gestures, characters to bodies, ideas to movement, none of which work, but I kept doing it anyway until finally, through the sheer weight of critical mass, I was cracked open. It could have been anything, but this piece, Present Tense by Trisha Brown, wiped out all of my strategies, leaving me only with eyes to see Brown's stunning precision and virtuosity. What was once formal and beyond my grasp suddenly felt intimate and true. Joseph Cornell boxes do this for me. We recognize the separate pieces, a photo of Lauren Bacall, a brown ball, some cut-out circles and framed squares, And I can't tell you what cornel means by placing one next to the other, but it feels as if someone is whispering his most private and powerful secrets. Last August, my wife and I visited the Grotto of the Holy Redemption in Iowa. Imagine a cornel box the size of a city block. It began in 1892 when Father Paul Doberstein was stricken by pneumonia. He prayed to the Blessed Virgin and promised to build a shrine in her honor if he lived. Work began in 1912. 52 years and thousands of minerals and precious stones later, it was completed. The tour guides tell you the petrified wood represents perdition and the topaz transcendence, but you need no explanation that this is about one man making it right with God. And that's my point. There is no Rosetta Stone, no key to the scriptures. There is no right or wrong, nothing to get or not get. The artist has her motivations and meanings, and so will we. How does the work make us feel? What does it make us think? All we need is suspended judgment and an open spirit. The problem with this presentation is that I'm using static images to describe a dynamic form. I'd like to make that up to you. Email me. I'll send you the link to a beautiful 8-minute video. You won't need me or anyone else to explain how beautiful it is. You'll only need what you already have, and that's eyes to see.